Mike check.
Yo, what up, big dog?
What it do, man?
Man, slow motion, dog. Just out here living the dream and trying to stay sane in this crazy world.
Oh, that's what's up. The world
Yeah.
ain't crazy. The world is what the world is, man.
Trying to realize you only can control what you can control because it's something new every day, man.
And we don't control a thing.
We don't.
Just worry about what you got to do the next 10 minutes, man.
We, the people, can vote, all right? But the people are so damn easily manipulated to the point that everybody think everybody's against everybody when it's really more so in the middle.
The Republicans fearmonger all the time that communism is the devil, but that's what Karl Marx predicted. You keep abusing the working class, they eventually rise up. The sleeping lion wakes up and takes over the government. And you can't say it doesn't happen. It happened in Nepal, Albania going crazy right now. There's some other countries that recently overthrew their government. I'm not saying that's what needs to be done, but eventually people get tired, right?
That's why I lean towards a mixed economy or mixed economics because capitalism doesn't even exist in America.
There's no true capitalism. Capitalism means it's absolutely zero government assistance. You
Mm-hmm.
let the free market decide, which, if it's truly a good product, it's going to survive. But it seems like we keep bailing out everybody. I thought they was going to bail out Spirit Airlines, but
If it had been Delta, they would have bailed out Delta. But Spirit Airlines, you can allow that to fail because it wasn't
yeah.
big enough. All these bailouts we have, dude, no, ain't no such thing as capitalism. Nothing should be too big to fail in capitalism. Nothing.
I mean, I just say you don't want welfare for the poor. Should be no welfare for the rich. There should be no such thing as a tax cut, tax subsidies, or this or that credits. For like just to get rid of all of it.
That's a trick they play on you, right? They play the trick of that these rich folks need more money to give to you. And if we gave money to you, you would just waste it. But these other folks on top, they know how to make more money. But I just can't give you the money because you'll waste it. But don't worry, the rich folks
Yeah.
will give you the money. I'm sorry, man. I didn't do my shitty intro, but you know what?
You
Tell
can
the
do your
folks.
intro. What up?
Do my shitty. Capitalism podcast, just a man doing the best he can with what he got. And today I got a return guest, homie that puts things in perspective for me. Somebody I've been trying to talk to for the last month. Maxwell. Any new books coming out?
Nah, not right now. I ain't been writing. I just been chilling. Like I said, I'm still transplanting, getting my life together out here in India. So, just once I get my family out here, I'll be able to focus on the non-essentials.
So you're missing America yet, man? You're missing all the freedom and all the greatness of America because you're in that I ain't gonna say third world country, but other folks would say third world country with scammers. India.
I mean, it's not unfair to say that this is a emerging market. They are moving up there, but I definitely, there are some things that you have to adjust to, but for the most part, I don't miss everything. I mean, I miss like going to a big grocery store and just walking up and down aisles and just, getting what you need, in some sort of organized fashion. I mean, here a lot of things is more e-commerce or like what they call small ship, small volume. So you can get what you need, but you're ordering it from an app. Some days you just want to go to the store and just walk around, right? Like a grocery store, but they got malls and stuff here.
Well, it's so funny because
So
everybody's looking at emerging markets, and that was the thing with the Albania story that you sent me. For those y'all don't know, Jared Kushner is trying to build a luxury hotel in Albania. And could you break that down a little bit? What's going on?
essentially, I guess they got wise to figure out how when you control certain chokeholds like the Strait of Hormuz. There's a little island in the middle of Albania and Italy that controls that little choke point between the Mediterranean Sea and what's the sea that connects it? It's a Caspian Sea or Black Sea, one of those seas. And so they're trying to essentially take control of that. And in the years past, during other world wars and stuff, people have used that as a foothold to constrain traffic that's coming from the north to the southern part of Europe. And so there's already all these bunkers and stuff there. So to me, I'm just like, I'm not trying to go down the conspiracy theory rabbit hole, but it makes sense why they want that island so bad because I think they starting to realize that once they are no longer in power in terms of having people to give them, pardons and stuff, bargaining pardons for all their crimes and stuff, like where are you gonna go? you got to go somewhere where they can't, extradite you. Worst case, there's a global war where you're gonna go where you feel safe, right? So I don't know.
No, no,
It's
no. I'm glad you said
strange
that
times.
because that was my thinking amongst this whole thing. Like trying to put the pieces together is kind of weird because obvious things are going on right now, things we can't deny. Right now, the US president is embezzling and siphoning off money to his family, to his friends. The man that got billions of dollars while in office. He didn't de-invest from any of his investments. He's been investing in all these companies and giving them contracts. He did that with Dell. He bought stock at Intel. You can see the man's stock disclosure. There is something going on. But the thing with Albania that I found interesting is the Albanians are saying, hey, man, we're not saying you can't come here, but you're not following the laws and the rules. Where's the inspection paperwork, my G? They're saying
I
that.
mean, they just trying to follow a playbook that they're trying to mirror. They said, that it's like, look at the East Wing. They didn't ask for permission. They just knocked it down, and then they're like, oh well, we need money to finish this. And it's like, why you weren't supposed to start
You
it?
wasn't supposed to
Uh,
start. Like, what if I give you no money? It's like, you know.
but now they have to do something about it. They can't just leave it open and exposed. Now it's a security risk. They
But
have nothing there.
see, that's Iran though. It's we break it, you fix it.
No,
That's the whole Iran
yeah.
war that they said it wasn't a war. That turned out to be a war because now we got a war power resolution from
Uh,
Congress who finally did their job, right? So all this shit is falling apart, but it's a we break it, you fix it type situation.
yeah, that whole strategy, like, like part of what's going on in Gaza and all that, like from what I understand, the purpose of them encroaching on the land, outside from the obvious, if they just want the land for themselves, they'll say like, oh, well, we have to create a buffer between, missile strikes, so that way it's not as easy for them to like, attack the mainland, right? And so it's like, okay, well, all right, you make a buffer, so you take over that, and then now, okay, well, now they're attacking the buffer, so we need a buffer for the buffer. And so they eventually just keep spreading out. And now then the West Banks get taken over, and now they're doing the same thing in Beirut and in Lebanon. And I'm just kind of like, what are you guys doing? We have international law. Y'all can't just invade property lines and pretend that people aren't going to notice or people aren't going to get upset.
This is one of the factors of having people in office and having kind of like dynasties forever
Mhm.
and having like a two-party system in America. But Benjamin Netanyahu's been in power for too goddamn long. Like this man's already said what he wanted to do, and he just
Uh,
basically doing the
I
cheap
mean,
playbook.
he's the face of the last, extra amount of years, which I can understand. It's easy to, blame on one person. But the guy that's set to, oppose him, he's just as somewhat radical in terms of his ideology. Like it's like being the difference between MAGA and neocon. You see what I'm saying? Like, is
Mm.
it really that much better? Like, none of it care. Like, your concern isn't for the middle. You're still to the on the right side of it. So I don't know his name, but just look it up. The person that's opposing him, I think they have an election or something like that. Like, he's not that much better. It's a very it's like an open secret. Like they have patches where they want to take over all of it, right? What else says,
They
the
do.
greater land reclamation or something. But aside from that, I ain't trying to get canceled. So,
I've been saying this for the last 3 years, and that's probably why my YouTube channel won't blow up. But no, man, I've been anti-Zionist, and here we go. I said the Z word. I've been anti-Zionist, and I'm like, yo, you need a two-state solution for Israel. I stand on that.
yeah,
Anybody who disagrees with me, kick rocks. I'm cool with
there's a difference between being anti-Zionist and anti-Semitic.
it. Yes.
Anti-Semitic means you hate a religion, you hate people that follow their religion. You could be anti-Islamist or anti-Christian, but you know, but when you're criticizing a state, a foreign state, you're not criticizing the religion of those that are in that state. But then they'll say, oh, well, the majority of them are this or that, and I'm like, but we're not criticizing how they worship. We're criticizing how the foreign state is
Yes.
behaving towards their neighbors. Of course, and we'll say the same thing the other way around. Like, whenever we invaded Iraq, part of our invasion was due to how they were treating their people. how they're treating their neighbors or this and that. And then, the U.S. isn't innocent. I mean, they created half of these problems, through poor decisions in the 50s and 40s.
This is part of the problem, right? Things become so amorphous and nobody looks at where we're at. Now, we can't look in the past. You're right. We need to look at all our past mistakes, but nobody talks about now. Like, okay, what are you doing now? Bad things happened then. What are you doing now? But how do those bad things affect now? I mean, I was kind of saying this in a jumble of goop, but my greater point is things change and nobody wants to talk about how things change.
It's very simple. History, if you fail to learn history, it will repeat itself. But sometimes people are just trying to whitewash history, no pun intended. But at the same time, like think about it. In America, you have conservatives today that swear up and down that the KKK is the
Democrats.
Democratic Party when they don't understand that the Dixiecrats that they later left the Democratic Party because they were opposed to Lyndon B. Johnson signing of the Civil Rights Bill. So and guess where they went? They went to the Republican Party. But then when you say that, you're like, oh, you're making that up. It's like, I didn't make this up. I just read it on Wikipedia.
You got even a bigger example. In Tennessee, my home state, you got a white dude in Clarksville running around the black folks calling them niggers, just openly calling them
Whoa,
niggers.
whoa.
No, yeah, just doing that. Carry around mace, shot somebody in jail for attempted murder. He says he's a Republican. He says he's a conservative. That's what he said. And the man just raised $200,000
for defense.
All that he does is going around antagonizing black people. He got $200,000. But he calls himself a Republican. That's your example right there. So what are we talking about?
Yes. So one thing I've learned over the course of this, political discourse from the last 15 years, I no longer even give people that don't even come to the table to the debate stage with like they're not even trying to debate in good faith. They're literally just trying to say their talking points and then talk over you. And then when you challenge them, ask for an example. If they can't provide example, I no longer want to engage in a conversation with them because you're not in good faith trying to solve a problem or trying to educate the masses. For instance, look at what happened on January 6th, right? You remember there was a lot of ambiguity as of was it an FBI plot? Was it done on the inside? Was it to fake this or that? There's no way MAGA would have done that, or they were just peaceful. Everybody wanted to act like it wasn't MAGA. It was Antifa. Antifa did it. And then you start asking questions. Why would Antifa, who's opposed to quote unquote Donald Trump, want to stop a process that would put in someone else that wasn't Trump? And then you're like, yeah, that's what they want you to think. That's how they operate. It's bigger than that. They want to act like they are on this precipice of intellectual, reasoning that you don't understand it because you're part of the problem. You sheep, whatever. And then later on, coming to present day, why did Donald Trump pardon Antifa? Why is Donald Trump making 1.8 billion dollar slush fund for Antifa? Are you okay with your guy supporting Antifa? That ain't Antifa. Those are patriots. They were wrongfully. And it's like that you bring it back what they said in the past, and they'll be like, "I ain't say that. You on video? AI, AI didn't exist then. Not to the degree it is today.
Everything's
so that's why I'm just kind of like, what, like that's what I'm saying. Now I don't even care to argue with them folks. When they say something stupid, just call them low IQ and move on. Like we have to stop giving people a platform that have no intention to learn, no intention to want to do right. They don't actually care about other people. They just want to be heard and they just want to be, they want to make a splash.
Yeah,
they just want to be loud and wrong. And like, what's the point of that?
Now, that's why I don't have debates on my podcast. And I get emails every week for people who want to come on. I want to debate you. I'm like, nah, I'm good, dog.
I don't consider what you and I do a debate. I just consider like we're just at the barbershop or we hanging out, playing a pick a game of basketball, just jive and talking about what happened this month, and then we chill and peace out. That's it. And I'm pretty sure I don't have all the details, but if I don't, please present to me what detail that I'm missing to change my understanding of the situation. Because I don't know last time I talked to you what we talked about, but we've been in this war since February, but it's not a war because it ended. but it
but
didn't really end because
and
there's a
it
ceasefire
but it never really
to the
was a
war.
war either. Keep in mind that it wasn't a war.
And now Trump's bored of it. So because he's bored of it, that means it's over, right? The
Uh-huh.
war is over.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mission accomplished, man. Get the banners because we did it.
yeah.
But that's the thing. People don't know how to debate. Like people don't even know what a debate is. They don't know debate structure. And in a debate, people got to talk. You got to listen. There has to be a conversation. But people are not concerned with
Hmm.
conversating or hearing the counterpoint. Like, I'm
Yeah,
totally okay
yeah.
with hearing the counterpoint and saying, hey, man, tell me more about that. But that's not where we're at right now. Where we're at right now is yelling, being angry, and being performative. And I have no desire to be performative. That's why I can talk to you because we can have a conversation. And we disagree all the damn time. And we can be like, oh,
Do
okay,
we?
well, yes, we do all the time, man. I'll be like, oh, okay. Or
I don't agree with that.
well, there you go. There you go. But no, seriously, when we disagree, or you have a counterpoint, I'd be like, oh, why? And I'd be like, okay,
I'll look
cool.
into it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll
And
look into
the
it.
same,
Whatever.
vice versa.
Global affairs, I keep up with it, but to be real, like you said in the beginning, what can we really do about it?
Mm-hmm.
I ain't got no army.
Nope. You gotta keep the peace, man. That's kind of like one of the things people are mad at in America about black people. Why ain't y'all out here? I'm like, yo, there's only so many times we can go out here and march, because we're only
Mhm.
14% of the population. Y'all use that statistic with crime.
I'm like three
Yeah, you're like
in
three.
America. In America, but in the world, I'm part of the
The
majority in the
majority.
world. Asia takes up like 4 or 5 billion.
But they had to lump y'all in together in America because our biggest export is racism.
The Asian continent, Asia, you can always split it up by, South Asian, East Asian, Russian, whatever. But the Asian continent, there's like 5 billion people,
No,
four
you
billion
guys are
people.
killing all of us in
Yeah.
population wise. But I'm just saying in America in general, like we lump all minorities in together. We make you guys the model
Mm.
minorities just to really keep black people on the bottom, which is how we are set up and structure wise. But the 14% of us, they never like use that
Yeah.
14% to say that we have no power or we can't change anything. It's always 14% can do crime, but 14% can't change anything.
So it goes back to this whole, white supremacy type of mentality. I'm not saying all white people, but the ones that truly believe that white supremacy is their ideology, this is how flawed the argument is. They will use demographics like, oh, well, African Americans consist of only 13, 14% of population, but they commit X
It,
amount of the crimes,
mm-hmm.
50% or whatever. You hear it all the time. And then when you try to dissect that, it's like, well, you also over police African American communities. And guess what? 90% of all exonerations or like falsely accused are also African Americans. So that tells you that just because they're arrested for it doesn't mean they actually committed it.
The
But
crimes,
even
yeah.
then, you're not even policing it evenly. Crimes exist in all communities, but if you don't go looking in those communities, you're not gonna find them. And if you really want to use the demographic as a morality post check, then why don't you go talk to Asian folks? They seem to not do any of the crimes to the same degree as white or black. But you're not trying to solve the problem of crime, which goes to the heart of it. You just want to over police particular groups. It's
Yep.
like, because if you truly want to help these folks, oh, just these groups, they keep committing crimes. There's something wrong with them. We got to bring them to Jesus. Okay, where's the bringing them to Jesus part? Where's the learnings you're gonna provide for them? Where's the gaps that are gonna close so that way
Right.
crime just ends entirely? No, you don't actually care about crime. You want to look for legal ways to enforce your ideology, which is racism.
Yeah, the other shoe never drops. That was the thing with the Memphis task force when everybody
Hmm.
said, hey, man, Trump is going to come in. He's going to clean up Memphis and everything's going to be better. I was like, okay, cool. Now that everything's clean, where's the investment? What's the next step? You brought in police, you brought in the National Guard, and now you're celebrating and say, hey, man, we did it. We made Memphis better. All right, now are we going to South Memphis and having picnics? Are we bringing in
Hmm.
business? Like, where's the infrastructure? But that's not what people want, man. They just want shows of force, right? And the
Yeah.
data never works in the opposite way. I had a conversation with a coworker of mine, white guy, and he was saying, well, Marcus, the thing is, everything should be database. I'm like, well, what data do you mean? He's like, well, if statistically more black people rob my store, then black people in general shouldn't get mad if I follow you around. Like, wait, what they got to do with me? So you're saying I have to feel uncomfortable? You have to follow me because you did data that shows black people? He's like, well, yeah, that's what the data shows. I'm like, why should I, as an individual, feel uncomfortable? You watching me because you're thinking I may steal. Well, that's what the data shows. I'm like, well, shouldn't you be watching everybody because everybody could steal? He's like, well, no, because the data shows black people. You shouldn't be mad. I'm like, that makes no goddamn sense, my G.
I mean, let's just, if they really want to be based off data, I mean, why would anybody steal? Either A, they just like to steal because the thrill of it, which is not many, but some people do that, or because they need it and they don't have the resources to get by with, so they're going to steal it out of necessity. So what that means, the data should be focused on income level, right?
You
You
know what?
know,
No, I'm gonna push back. You could just be an asshole and want to steal, but that also goes to demographics, right? If you're in the black
hmm
neighborhood, guess who's probably gonna steal? The black people.
Probably,
If you're in the white
yeah, well,
neighborhood, guess who's gonna
yeah,
steal? The
the
poor
white people,
people
yeah,
and the white people, right? But poor
yeah.
is a factor, but once again, that's a lack of looking at all the damn data. It's just like the data point you want to see is the data point you use. You just want to follow black people.
But it comes down to it is like these petty crimes, misdemeanors at that, like people spend so much resources to over police that. But then the moment you find true fraud and crime in the billions and
Empty
trillions,
foul.
they're like nobody goes to jail, nobody gets shot. So
Sing.
I don't understand it.
Whew, man, it's allergies, man. Sing fast. Whoa. Damn. Man, sorry. Allergies,
Yeah,
dog.
they still ain't arrested a single person
Not a
outside of
single
the
person,
main
dog.
two. I mean, London. I'm not London. UK arrested. What's his name? Formerly Prince Andrew.
Prince
He's
Andrew.
so you already know he about to sing. He about to be singing like a chicken.
Nah, he finna come up missing.
Oh,
I
that's
don't
true.
wish it
That's true.
upon him, but look, man, the writing's on the wall,
Yeah,
dude.
it's too many, too
Oh,
much. Yeah. The moment they feel that they regime is gonna get exposed, but I mean, at the same time, it's like there was no huge backlash from his base. They don't care. They
it
really
changed.
don't.
The argument changed. They were the people who put everybody on to the Epstein files and said there was a cabal of rich people abusing children. They said it. It was a right wing talking point until they found out their homie was in the files. And it's like, nah.
But I mean, to me, it's like, okay, let's just say we save him for last in terms of prosecution because they can't do nothing until he's out of office anyway. What's wrong with going after the other guys? The guys that's mentioned not as much as him. I mean, yeah, he's the name mentioned most outside of Epstein. Okay, what about the third guy? What about the fourth guy? Talk to these folks. They're like they don't want to do anything.
But that was going to be my next point. And it's twofold, right? So the brilliance of this Trump administration is he got a whole cabinet of idiots, people who are so
Mhm.
underqualified for their job, like reverse DEI. He got some of the lamest losers ever who can't do their job.
DNI, the new Department of National Intelligence, whoever they're appointing, he has zero experience in the intelligence. And the thing that's crazy is that position actually requires a certain amount of experience in certain fields. So he's not even qualified from the legal sense. But for somehow he was put in that position. Tulsi Gabbard said, "You know what? I ain't finna be a part of this."
I'm
She
out.
dipped out talking about her. I ain't saying her husband don't have cancer, but ain't that convenient? And then look at what's her name? What's her name? Carolyn Levitt. She's pregnant. She's about to have a baby, which she took some time off. Um, but then they say something like, no, not her. No, Pam Bondi said she got throat cancer now or something like that. She got thyroid cancer
Hey man, you can't go
or
against
something like
cancer,
that.
right? That's a cheat code. Everybody
Yeah,
get
so
cancer
so
now. You can't talk about that. I got
I
cancer.
can't talk about it no more because my
Cancer.
doctor told me I can't talk about it anymore. I'm just kind of like, man, what's wrong? Like to me, I'd be kind of more worried about like all these folks dropping like flies.
Well, that's the thing. So if you're not qualified for the job, then by default, you're gonna tear everything down. Everything's gonna fall because you need competency at top.
hmm
So I mean, that's the thing. Like you can have plausible deniability. Man, I told Pete Heptaw to do it. Yeah, the Fox and Friends and co-hosts.
Yeah, he's gonna be one of the next ones to quote unquote resign or
I said
quit.
that.
Like he,
That's my
he about to
pick.
get blamed for the whole Iran war.
Yes. Oh, it's his fault. That's another thing, right? Everybody gets thrown under the bus. Like the guy who hired the unqualified people then turns on the unqualified people and be like, guys, it was man, Pete. What can I say, man? Like Pete said it was a good idea. Who hired Pete? Don't worry about that part. I'm just saying, I'm removing him. Pat me on the back. Yay, I'm doing something. And that's what a lot of folks just want. They want to see just people doing shit. It's like the hell was being done. Well, Trump's getting stuff done. Well, he caused 80% of the problems. Nope, but he fixed them. He didn't. No, but he's doing stuff. He's moving, he's shaking, he's taking it down. The deep state.
Look, we can beat a dead horse on the war. They never gonna come to agreement. Let's talk about the real news of the day. Why this man sleeping on camera in front of everybody and nobody saying anything? Sleepy Don, drowsy Don, dozy Don, whatever y'all want to call him. That man is
Hey, man,
asleep.
he said dozy Don.
That man is sleeping. Dozy Donnie.
I can tell you why. We know why? This is gonna be like breaking news right now, The Coming Out podcast with Marcus L-Spade Johnson and L. Maxwell to give you the reason why. He old.
Oh yeah, 80 years old. He old.
So old folks do that.
He went missing for 7 days, and they didn't explain why he was out of commission for a minute. Some people suspected that he might have had like a minor stroke.
Okay, so now this is the speculation part of the podcast, guys. We are speculating right now because I'm gonna go ahead and tell you what I think. Yes, the man had a stroke. The man had a stroke or an aneurysm, and the man disappeared. And I say right now, the only thing keeping this man alive right now is a litany of cocktails and steroids.
Yep. Cocktail barbiturates. Yep.
The man actually looks like, and I'm saying this with a level of understanding when I saw my father die. He looks like my father before he passed away. Like you see flickers of energy and light interacting with him, and he can kind of have good days and bad days. But overall, this is a man who's dying. And it's a man who knows he's dying. And that's why he keeps on doing shit. Like, this is why you don't have old folks in power. Because at the end, they're like, well, fuck it. We all do whatever the hell I want to do because I'm dying. I know I'm not going to be here. So anything I do is for you guys to clean up. That's why you need somebody with some skin in the game. I feel like, man, around 45 to 60 is a perfect time to be president because you still got a little life left. Honestly, man, 45 to 55 is perfect presidential age. And this man know he finna die. Even if he gets out of office and get convicted for all these crimes that we know he did, you're like, fuck it, what you gonna do? You gonna take an old dying man to jail?
Nothing's gonna happen. He's gonna, Father Time will, claim him and they'll just move on to the next person. I mean, it is what it is in terms of like his, like, that's why he is, look at his actions. He knows his time is limited because, he's 80 years old, right? So because he fears not having a positive legacy, he's gonna force his name to be remembered. Put me on a $250 bill. Put my name on the Kennedy Center. You know what I mean? Build this arch, build this ballroom, things that they can't get rid of. So every time they look at it, they think of me. That's like a child or just so narcissistic. Like dude, like you don't care what you destroy in the process because you've already destroyed your name. So you want to force people to remember you through these monoliths and all these other physical things. That's why they're trying to build bunkers in Albania. That's why they're trying to flee. They're preparing their exit strategy because constitutionally they won't be able to stay in power no matter how much they want to.
Well, I struggle to find what the world is going to look like when this collapse or if this collapse. If money is no longer important and money is just something that we all say is money, what is more important? And I'm thinking that's land, resources, water, air, clean air. I mean, that's why you got folks going against these data centers, man, because
water is the next gold.
Yes, it's next gold because none of this shit is really real. I mean, we've talked about this before, but like none of this shit is real. Money ain't real. What's real is you having life and having the necessities you need to live. But all this other shit is just extra, bro. But they've tricked us into believing that, hey, man, you got to pay for water. Well, it ain't the water you're paying for, it's the pipes in the system to get the water. Well, can I collect my own water? Nah, it's illegal.
Speaking of gold, I think the president is trying to go visit Fort Knox to go check on the gold himself. And I'm like, so the trillions of dollars or the billions of dollars you've accumulated, 3-4 billions in the first year of your second term ain't enough. You gotta physically go steal some gold too. Like you about to go steal some gold from Fort Knox because there was a desk. I forget the name of the desk, but there was a desk in the Oval Office or whatever that they normally have but he took it out and replaced it with a different desk that, like one of the other presidents used. And everybody's like, "Where that desk at? You said you guys were going to refurbish it or fix it up before, whatever, because it's been through so many years." It's at Mar-a-Lago right now on exhibit. He has one of one of those desks at Mar-a-Lago. And I'm just like, so what you about to do with this gold? Oh, we just want to showcase this gold at Mar-a-Lago, the wealth. And I'm like, I'd be surprised if the gold's even there.
Stealing from the
The way they've been
office,
spending
man.
money.
Dude, that guy, man, he taking coffee filters.
Yeah, some
So
people take pens, some people take copy paper. This man said, "I'm taking the
give
desk.
me that desk now. Y'all don't need it. Y'all
Give me
ain't
the
using
whole
it.
desk."
Oh shit, I can refurbish it. Hell. So, okay, give me some of these pictures, man. That look, man, everything's a spectacle with this guy, but I don't know if it's intentional because he may be the greatest political genius of our times. I don't know if it's intentional, but the man is good at giving you a distraction, man. The man's giving you UFC fights on the lawn. Like, yo, this is so
That's
beneath the
that,
White
that that's
House.
that's some straight up trailer trash stuff going on right now at
So
the White House.
scummy, but it gives people something to
They
talk
they
about.
they literally done demolished half of the house. They got wrestling, backyard wrestling happening right now. You know what I mean? What is going on? They got 30, they got a 34 felon, convicted liable sexual abuser living there. I mean, it's going. You can say what y'all want to say. Like that's him, and
But you know
they
what this
elected this man again. That's crazy.
But you know what this really shows is that there's always money. It's just never money for people on the bottom. Like you can't
Yep,
get subsidized
yep,
healthcare. You can't get
man.
subsidized food. You can't get free education. But we can throw a goddamn UFC. We can build an arch. We can do all this shit. We can build a ballroom.
I mean, when it killed me when he said we can't afford what you call like childcare for these kids. We don't have the money. It ain't in the budget. And then the next week they were asking for $1 trillion for the
$1
war.
for the war.
I
Yes.
was like, man, what
Yes.
is wrong with y'all?
So where is all the money going?
I will say that the herd has been thinned. It's not as many. And the ones that are left, if you can't criticize them, it's a cult. That's all I have to say. It is a cult. When you can't criticize the man for clearly corrupt behavior, you are in a cult. We've seen Candace Owens flip, Tucker Carlson flip, Megyn Kelly flip. So, I would say they are smart enough to know that they were only grifting, but now that they see the writing on the wall, they're trying to pivot their careers for when he's not in office.
Yes, that's what it
But the
is.
ones that are still, worshiping this guy, literally buying his Bibles and stuff, yeah, they ain't no saving them.
They know it's over
You
too,
know?
though. But that's like every cult. I know some people who've been in cults, and they'll tell you that they knew it was over before. It's just they didn't want to admit they was wrong, and they felt like if they left this, they had nothing else. Because say what you
Mhm.
want, is white supremacists in MAGA. That is like a base of that, and it's a lot of people who are super racist in MAGA, and they feel like that's all they got left. And if they got to admit that's wrong, they feel like they're wrong. And all these people who flipped, who's in the grift, like, yo, of course they flipping now because it's self-preservation all day long.
That's one thing that I ain't heard since I've been out here. Ain't nobody ever told me to go back to where I came from. Because guess what? I look like I belong here.
That goes to the default American though. It's like, because you're right. You fit in America, we have an idea of what our idea American is, but nobody wants to talk about it. And the idea is white. That's why white folks be like, man, I'm not getting anything. It's reverse racism. It's like, no, dude, it's supposed to be a melting pot. It's supposed to be equality for all.
Ideally, it should be equality for all, and that's what I want for everyone. I don't want people to be disparaged or negatively like handicapped because of how they look or what they believe. Like I get it, like, hey, you shouldn't give anybody free stuff because that handicaps me. But you're not even like starting from a position of, oh, I'm just not getting help. No, you're getting help and you're purposely making other people, you know, you're weakening their opportunities, right? I mean, the truth of the matter is like people try to say, oh, you can't change the Constitution. When they wrote that Constitution, they did not have brown people in mind. They didn't even have women in mind in terms
No.
of leading the country. So to me, it's like, miss me with all that. The forefathers, they created a perfect document, and we need to go back to when America was, founded and listen to the founders. And I'm like, Did you not know they owned slaves? Do you agree with that? And it's
Mhm.
like there were some things they were wrong about. The Second Amendment, even though it's a touchy subject, they had muskets. They didn't have machine guns. They didn't even have nukes. They didn't even know what atoms were really back then.
That goes back to our thing in the beginning, though. We said in the beginning, people don't talk about now. They look about the past. They don't look how history evolved and changed. Yeah,
You
like
know?
60 years ago, it'd be impossible for us to be talking. I couldn't sit in a room with a white dude 60 years ago. And that goes like to even like the homophobia of things being normal. I'm like, dude, normal is what we decide it is. It's a sliding scale.
Yeah, society has to progress. We have to adapt with the times. I mean, let's just take all the social concerns aside. Like that stuff's always going to be it's going to be nuanced. People are going to take it very personal. It's a very emotional topic. Let's talk about something very technical that they need to address as a society. What the hell are we going to do about AI? It's out of control. And it's not even like, oh, AI is going to take our jobs out of control. No, AI is taking our resources now too. It's
Yes.
using up all the water, using up all the electricity, raising electricity rates,
Yep.
taking up people's land. It's making a bunch of noise. Have you ever been near AI center?
I
If you're
have.
within a mile of AI center, it's loud because all you hear are fans kind of cool down the place. But so to me, it's like as a society, we need to come to an agreement. What are we going to do about this modern threat, and how are we going to enforce certain things? Some people propose a 50% profit tax. Since hey, AI is displacing all these jobs, we need to invest these profits that AI displaced back into the communities. Which I think is like, yeah, I mean, profit is profit. You're only taxing them on the profit. You're not taxing them on revenue. But I guess, if 50% is not enough, then what is enough? Okay, let's agree to 40%, or let's agree to 20%. No, we don't want to get taxed at all. We're going to find loopholes, which to me, I don't get. And that's why they want culture wars, because when you start looking at what really matters, it's like, well, what are you going to do, right? If everybody agrees that this is a problem, they won't have the votes. So what they do is they want you to just be divided based off everything else: race, sexual orientation, gender, you know, ideology, immigration status. They find everything else to argue about. Like what's the thing they want? Look what's going on in Texas with Talarico. This man is a white, cisgendered, straight man with a girlfriend, Christian. All the Republican check marks. So they gotta lie about this man to
Mm-hmm.
get you not to like him because he talking a little bit too much like Jesus.
Uh-huh.
Literally, he talking a little bit too much like Jesus. What you want us to do with the poor? You want us to take care of them?
Feed
Says
them.
who? Says Jesus. Matthew 25. Read it. Take care of the sick. Take care of the hungry.
No, you need the image of Jesus. Nobody wants to actually read what Jesus said. But let me go back to the AI point because I was laughing because I've been beating the drum on this. And here's the main point about AI I want everybody to understand because I work in IT and I have a couple LLM certifications and AI certifications.
Hmm.
And the thing is, right, data centers do not create jobs. They don't. The data center itself doesn't need a lot of people to run it. Most of those people are going to be remote, so it doesn't bring income into your area. So I was out here protesting the XAI in Memphis. I went to council meetings. I was making my voice known, and I was telling people, I'm like, dude, the first thing that's going to happen is your utility bills are going to go up.
Electric rates. Yep.
Yeah, they're going to
Yep.
go up. They're going to plug into our grid. We got a grid from 1914 that's not stable already. We lose so much energy. I'm like, they're going to be soaking off that. We already got rolling blackouts in the summer. That's going to increase. So
That's
then
happening in Memphis?
it's going to happen. And here's the thing, right? Yeah, we get blackouts in Memphis all the damn time in the summer. Like that, I counted 12 times last year that the electricity just went off.
Yeah, so here in India, that's a common occurrence because it gets hot, and they're like said it's an emerging market, but they know it's a problem, so they're going to invest in the grid and they're doing all these different things. But guess what? In the meantime, while people are worried about blackouts, they give you subsidies and discounts to get like solar and backup batteries. I got backup batteries in my apartment, so I can survive a blackout for like 6 hours with AC.
They get nothing from data centers. They're sucking up the resources. Right now, XAI, they got turbines kicking up pollution in the air. And the studies have
Hmm.
already been shown that these are going to cause birth defects, it's going to cause asthma and a lot of medical problems. So the answer is really Andrew Yang this shit. Give these folks money. If you're in that area, man, yes, they should be getting money. That's honestly the
Yeah.
answer. But the next thing I want to talk about is nobody knows what AI does. I'm saying that as somebody in the IT field. Nobody knows what the fuck AI is for.
AI is a brand. Artificial intelligence. It's not even artificial intelligence. It's more of like collective intelligence. It's only going to output what
What you
data
put
it can
in it.
access.
There you go. That's a large language
It is
model.
it doesn't actually think. It doesn't
It
actually
doesn't.
like, hey, I know what you should eat for lunch. It's gonna just screen results and it's gonna give you, and half of the time it hallucinates.
It's
You know,
predictive. Yes.
just look it up. Look it up. Just look up lawyers using AI getting like they get bad mouthed by judges because they're like, what you cited in your defense are case laws that do not exist
It's
because AI just made it up.
it's predictive, dog. It's giving you a framework of what's put inside of it.
It's a
And
tool. It's a tool. A
it's
calculator is going to
better
give you a number.
Google.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
all it
like
is.
a calculator is going to give you a number. But if you use the wrong formula, it ain't going to matter. You can be like, oh, I use a Pythagorean theorem to figure out how to get my gas tank to run faster, and you're not using the correct adiabatic, system or something like that. I don't know. Anyways, what my point is, it's a tool not meant to replace thinking. It's
But
meant to assist in human
but
thinking.
nobody knows what the tool does, man. It's like if I give you a hammer to spread butter on your bread, you're gonna be like, well, I got a hammer, but this ain't the best tool to spread this butter. And that's where we at right now because we got so much goddamn money invested in too much capex in AI. Right now, AI is too big to fail. So that's why the government is pushing it. That's why we're doing circular investment. That's why Intel is being propped up. Because honestly, we don't even know what the hell this is.
Speaking of cellular investment, and this might be way too deep for your listeners to understand in terms of the of like how does this connect? But let me just start. So you heard of SpaceX, right?
Yep. I know where you're
Elon Musk
going.
is SpaceX.
I know where you're
So
going.
so so SpaceX is about to IPO. IPO is, initial public offering. So they about to beg for money. You can buy shares on a part of the company for them to evaluate the company. They're guesstimating it's between 1.5 to 2 trillion dollars in terms of what it should be evaluated as, which would be like a stock price of, I don't know, let's just say $200 depending on how many shares they release. What people don't understand is, so SpaceX by itself doesn't really make that much money enough to cover its bills yet, but it's the idea of it will be profitable one day. But right now, you remember Elon Musk, go back to him. So he owns SpaceX or part of it. He also owns XAI, right?
Mhm.
Well, remember back in the day, a couple of years ago, when he was forced to buy Twitter, right? So when he bought Twitter, he had to loan out a bunch of money in order, get investors to use all that money from investors, from his stocks in Tesla,
Mhm.
whatever, all this stuff. They had to use all that stuff. And then so that money was held up as collateral. So then what he did was he made XAI buy Twitter so he
Yep.
can get his money back
Yep.
from what it was held up. And now he's going to get SpaceX to buy XAI. And then when they do the public offering and they get all that money from shares, he's going to be debt free. So who's going to be holding the bag? All these retail investors. They're
Mhm.
going to be holding the bag. So basically what you're going to see is happening. SpaceX isn't going to go bankrupt. Let's say the stock price opens up and it's at $200, it goes to 300, 400. Everybody's fear of missing out. They wanted to keep raising the price. And then when they start checking the books, hey, this company's not making money. Too bad, too late. The people that owned the shares originally, so his investors, and for him to get money, he gave them shares of XAI to pay for the Twitter investors, whatever. And then those XAI folks are going to get shares of, guess what? SpaceX.
SpaceX.
So then when these folks, they want their money back because it's been held up in these bad Twitter deals or whatever. When soon as the IPO comes out, they're going to cash
Yep.
out.
They're gonna sell
And when you
high.
and when you sell, it's going to drop the stock price. So
Mhm.
I this isn't financial advice, but I do believe SpaceX or space tourism is eventually going to be some type of a business that's worth investing in. But
No.
you're not going to catch me on day one buying the first shares. I'm going to wait for the impending initial correction. You know,
It happened with Reddit, right? I was one of those people when Reddit went public. I told everybody, "Hey, wait a month, wait till it correct, and then get in." But I'm telling you right
mm,
now, man, I ain't investing in SpaceX. Like, fuck Elon. I have a Tesla, but I ain't getting that man no more money. Fuck that. And like you said, it's circular investment. And if we're
Oh,
gonna be
Tesla done,
honest,
bro. Tesla
man,
done.
damn it, man, stop taking my thunder. Because I'm like, if you're gonna be honest, it's over for Tesla, dog. Like that car company is dead.
BYD in Canada now, and they can't believe what we've been missing out.
Mm-hmm.
And Trump already said, well, he just had that meeting in China. They've been having conversations. He's
Over,
like, you know
dog.
what? Let's give it a shot. Let's see if BYD can capture some of the U.S. market. Let's make it more competitive.
It's
Let's do
over,
some
dog.
back to the beginning. Let's do some real capitalism.
Mm-hmm. Get some full body
Just
capitalism going on, and they can't
actually
compete,
let
man.
actually let every competitor from every market participate versus artificially control the market and keep the ones that would lower the price for Tesla out. They literally added what they call a 200% tariff on
Mm-hmm.
certain brands of cars. So that's why they don't sell in America, but they BYD sells in Mexico. Now they sell in Canada. They sell here in India. They sell everywhere else. So you mean to tell me the other, I don't know, 7 billion people in the world can drive this car, but for some reason, for quote unquote Chinese national security threat safety reasons, America can't drive them. That was their BS reason to keep the cars out. But then, but you allowed it if they paid a 200% tariff. Why 200%?
I
Because
mean,
that's how much Tesla is charging for their cars.
two things can be true. You can tell me there's national security, and that's why we have a national security apparatus to make sure they are playing within the rules. You can tell me that. You can go in there and inspect it, man, and make sure those cars are up to standard. I'll hear you. Yeah, man, national security. Go check that out and go and give me that goddamn cheap ass car. Seriously, that's what I need. But it's
Hey,
over for Tesla. They're done.
hey, 2020, 2021, 2022, they kept saying China can't get these chips. Now Trump went over there and said, "Hey, Nvidia, come with me, talk to these folks."
Yep.
Now China can get these chips that they quote unquote we could not let fall in their hands for any reason because it would help advance their technology too fast. So now it's not a problem because guess
Well,
what? You and your buddies getting paid for it now.
Well, they have to. And the reason why they have to is say what you want about China, their long game is impeccable. Because what they did was they found out a way to get a comparable AI product out of old chips. Like it's not as
Mhm.
good as your chat GPTs, it's not as good as your Claudes.
Can't
But
argue with free sometimes.
yeah, but DeepSeek is free. And yo, if I'm a struggling business owner who needs AI or trying to figure out what AI does, yeah, let me go and get the free. So now it's getting to the point that those models will undercut the paid versions. So now Claude and OpenAI, they're in debt because they paying for shit.
So Claude has a little bit more, I guess, liquidity going forward because they at least have been getting deals here and there, and their technology seems to be improving. Like I think they might be ahead right now in terms of the technology, but OpenAI, man, they done like the investors are not giving them as much money as they were supposed to, and so eventually somebody got to pay for all these data centers that they've been harvesting, and half of the time they don't even own the chips that they got. Like they got them on like a lease. You know what I mean? They're leasing these chips, but it's not like a car or a house where you have a lease where it might appreciate or at least has some value within 3-4 years that you can resell it. With chips, after 2-3 years, you're not going to get a return on them. You know, like you're going to get maybe 20%, 10% of what you paid for it. So what are they going to do with all this hardware that they can't offload? Because the next data centers are going to be using the latest and greatest. They don't want the old
Mhm.
stuff, you know. So it's going to happen. I mean, I'm not trying to be a doom and gloom kind of person, but
A collapse is
I
coming.
mean, just be real. Be just real. Ain't no way. Well, what I just saw yesterday was the stock markets did crash, but it wasn't really crashing from a sense of like um the market itself has lost confidence. It crashed because the dollar appreciated so much. Like the dollar appreciated from like the DXY index went from like 99 to like 100. And that's significant in like one day. So that sudden rush just caused a rebalance. If the dollar is worth more, then the things that you used to buy that dollar with, you don't have to use as many dollars, right? So that's the correction you're going to see yesterday. So let's give it a couple of weeks and see how the markets like rebound and stuff. But either way, that's not an indication of the economy by itself, right? The market, it's a good indication for rich folks, people that got 401ks, things like that. But I think the real test is how much does gas cost? What's the average income for middle class,
How
right?
much it
Let's just
costs to get this
put it
food?
on.
Yeah. How much
Yeah.
these apples cost?
What's that? Yeah. What's interest rates now? What's a gallon of milk? A dozen eggs. I think those are very common metrics that people can agree. Hey, if this is going well, then, you know, people can say that things have improved. But gas has clearly gone up. Housing hasn't been improved in terms of, the mortgage rates. I think they're starting to go up again.
That's kind of the problem I have with all this. That if you make $1 million a year or even $250,000 a year, man, gas going up to $5 means nothing to you. You're good. You can take care of that, man. But the trick bag in all this is mainly the poor people are supporting this president. And I know because I'm in a red state, the poor people are supporting this guy and they have nothing and they're willing to give up everything. When Biden was in office, those folks were saying, hey, man, gas is too high, man. The cost of living was too high. Things have went up. Inflation has went up. These folks have no money and they're still willing to give. And I'm just like, why? Why are you still willing to give this man more? He's never been one of you guys. He's taken from you. He's exploiting you, and you're still just willing to give it to him. And all that I can think about it's just love, bro. They love this dude.
You heard what Trump said. He goes, he ain't worried about what's affecting American people right now. He really don't care, you know. And then they asked another day, what do you think about these New York Knicks tickets being $8,000 and you going there? What does that show? His response was, that's just the way life goes. I mean, they could watch the game from TV. It's kind of free on the TV. And I'm like, I know what you're saying. And the Knicks ticket prices are kind of abnormal. They haven't been to the playoffs or the finals in 50 some years or whatever, or 40 years. So it's kind of like, I get it. Like the Knicks, and it's New York. People got money there. So they reselling it like crazy. You know what I mean?
Isn't that kind of funny though? Because all the blue states have the money, all the red states have nothing. And then, and then when the rich people go down to the red state and carpet bag, the red state, see, that's the problem, man. Taxes too high in New York. So now they come to Tennessee like, no, dumb fuck. They was able to make that billions of dollars in New York. And now they're just leeching off us. Like, come on, y'all don't see what's going on?
Yeah. I mean, I mean, at least with, like, I don't know. I mean, New York is like the richest city in the world or something like that, right? In terms of the amount of money that goes through that city. So to me, it's like if New York can figure out a way, New York City at least can figure out a way to, like what Mom Donnie's doing out there to kind of reinvest in the community. I would just be like, that's just a litmus test on like, hey, look at what could be happening if one of the most populated, richest cities can figure out a way within America to take care of its people. And I'm not saying it's going to happen overnight, but he fixed the budget in like 4 months. There's no longer a deficit. So to me, it's like those are the little stepping stones we got to do. Fix the deficit first, and then maybe we'll get a surplus. But let's just get to break even first, and then we can slowly start to improve things. But the problem is you can't get to break even when you got a bunch of expenses going to who God knows where.
Well, that's the thing. Is speaking of Mondani, I've never seen so many people who don't live in a goddamn city worry about what a city is doing. Because I hear it all the time in Memphis. I'm like, we live in Memphis, right? You know we got potholes every 20 feet around here. Our infrastructure's falling apart and our school system sucks.
Yeah.
You know that, right? Why are you talking to me about New York City? They
Yep.
good.
Yep.
We're not.
I'm just saying some people ain't never left they block, and they want to for some reason criticize another country, let alone another city. But like I say, back to my point, stop giving these people credit. I just stopped talking to them. Like you can kind of tell from the beginning what they own. They own that BS. They're not here to help or have a conversation. They just here to troll or pretend to sound smart. I just ask them straight up. Have you ever been to college? I'm not saying you got to be college to go be smart, but have you ever been to college? Like you ever stepped foot on the campus? You know, and if their answer is, oh, school ain't for me, and I'm like, so what we talking about? Clearly, you don't like to learn.
And that's L. Maxwell. Gotta get you back on again, brother. Thank you.